Imagine you are coasting down the highway on a Friday evening.
Oh, that's the best feeling.
Right. The work week is finally behind you. Traffic is remarkably light for once.
A rare treat.
Exactly. You are just sinking right into that calm end of the week rhythm.
Getting ready to just decompress.
Yeah. And that is the exact headspace we are entering today. We are taking a deep dive into a single source document. It's titled secretaffair.docs.
It's quite the title.
It really is.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to unpack this firsthand account from a rideshare driver.
Someone who is just doing their job.
Right. On what should have been a completely mundane Friday night shift, this driver became the unwitting audience to a raw, incredibly intense human drama.
It is a striking piece of writing.
Yeah.
Really striking, because it captures this intense microcosm of the human experience. And it all happens in just a few short minutes.
Yeah.
What we are examining today is a slice of life laid completely bare, primarily because, the people involved forgot they had an audience at all.
Or they just stopped caring.
Exactly, they stopped caring.
The way the driver sets the scene for us is visually arresting. It's their very first ride of the night.
Fresh shift.
Right. They ease into the freeway traffic, just relishing the quiet. It takes less than 5 minutes to reach the pickup location.
A quick trip.
Very quick. The document describes the driver pulling onto this quiet street lined with cozy houses. And there's this one detail. The driver notes how the trees are moving in the evening breeze.
I love this part.
They say it mimics a, quote, slow dance.
That specific detail, the trees mimicking a slow dance, it establishes this baseline of harmony.
Yeah, it's very poetic.
It is. It lulls you into a tranquil state. And authors often use environmental contrast to heighten our perception of conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is exactly what happens here. The driver pulls up to this peaceful suburban street and finds their passengers. And there is zero harmony to be found on that curve.
None at all. Standing right there on the sidewalk is a couple locked in a heated exchange.
Right before they even get in the car.
Yes. They are trading sharp words, just glaring at one another. The driver notes that they radiate intense agitation and frustration. But also, and this really stood out to me, hidden desires.
It's a total sensory collision.
It is. You have the quiet, sleepy street on one side, and then this absolute storm of emotion on the other.
What's fascinating here is the immediate physical shift in the environment the second those car doors close.
The transition is so jarring.
It really is. Despite the obvious commotion outside, the couple gets into the vehicle. The driver greets them with a standard professional smile.
Just doing their job.
Right. But the document describes the atmosphere inside the car changing instantly. The driver notes it felt as though an invisible cloud had entered the back seat with them.
An invisible cloud.
Yeah.
It sounds almost suffocating.
The text describes it exactly that way. The driver says this cloud was so thick, it literally held the couple's mouths shut.
Wow.
And it locked their gazes. It is that heavy, pressurized silence that occurs right before a storm breaks.
You can just feel it.
The tension just vibrates in the confined space of that vehicle.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because that silence does not last long at all.
No, it doesn't.
The invisible cloud bursts. What follows is a sudden outburst of angry words. The driver is sitting there, essentially trapped in the front seat.
Nowhere to go.
Right. And they just start eavesdropping. Through the crossfire of this argument, the driver pieces together the reality of the situation.
And it's complicated.
Very. This couple is entangled in a complex web of secrets.
The revelation is honestly startling. The driver learns these two passengers are not actually married to each other.
Right.
They are separately married to other people.
Yeah.
And they chose to engage in an affair specifically to rekindle an old flame.
I read that and immediately wondered about the mechanics of that choice.
How so?
Well, do you think they initiated this affair because their current marriages were actively failing? Or is there just something inherently intoxicating about chasing a ghost from your past?
That is the crucial psychological distinction right there. Chasing an old flame is rarely about the actual person sitting in front of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It is often an attempt to resurrect a past version of yourself.
That makes a lot of sense.
The driver deduces they likely initiated this affair, hoping to find solace in each other's arms. They were seeking a refuge.
A sanctuary from their current life.
Exactly. They wanted to feel the way they felt years ago. But the bitter irony is that the reunion has completely failed.
It backfired.
Massively. Instead of a sanctuary, this fateful car ride becomes a downpour of hidden frustrations.
The reality of the situation just fractured the fantasy they built.
It always does.
When you put those two idealized versions of people into the cold reality of a Friday night rideshare, the illusion shatters.
Completely.
The source document details the anatomy of their arguments so meticulously. The driver says it unfolded exactly like a storm.
With emotions rising and crashing like waves.
Yes, we are talking hurled accusations, voiced regrets, and just the rapid resurfacing of buried past grievances.
What stands out to me the most is the pacing of the conflict.
The rhythm of it.
Right. This was not just a continuous flat line of screaming. It had a very distinct rhythm. The driver explicitly notes that the argument would peak with these crashing waves of anger, and then it would cycle back to a sudden calmness.
Which honestly makes me question their intent.
What do you mean?
Well, when I read about those sudden moments of calmness, my first thought was, are they pausing to genuinely digest what was just said? Or are they simply out of breath, just reloading their weapons for the next round?
It is so tempting to view it as just reloading. But the driver's observation is much more nuanced than that.
Okay.
They note these quiet moments felt intentional. It was creating space for each party to digest the other person's emotions before the next wave hit.
Wow.
It's a very recognizable pattern of deep, intimate conflict.
That makes sense.
Think about the mechanics of a fight where the stakes are astronomically high. You have to pause to process the pain you are causing and the pain you are receiving.
That rhythm transforms the environment entirely. The driver realizes the confined space of the car has morphed into a mobile confessional.
A mobile confessional, that's a great way to put it.
The back seat is no longer just a mode of transport. It's an enclosed space where two people are purging their regrets completely unfiltered.
This raises an important question, and it focuses entirely on the role of the bystander.
The driver.
Yes. We have this internal struggle happening in the front seat while the external struggle rages in the back.
It's a bizarre dynamic.
As the argument escalates and these waves of emotion just keep crashing, the driver admits they are struggling to maintain focus on the road.
I can imagine.
The emotional gravity of the situation is literally pulling them in.
I think we have all been in a quiet rideshare, maybe politely scrolling on our phones, worried about our passenger rating.
Right. Try and be a good passenger.
Exactly. But being trapped in the front seat while your passengers' double lives implode, that takes the awkwardness to an entirely different stratosphere.
Totally different level.
The driver actually contemplates intervening.
They really do.
They think about speaking up, maybe offering words of comfort, or even advice.
Which brings up the burden of passive empathy in modern society.
Passive empathy.
Yeah. We live in an era where we are constantly thrust into the private spheres of strangers.
That's very true.
Think about the social contract we operate under. You sit in a public space, and you are expected to build an invisible wall around yourself.
To mind your own business.
Exactly. When we see people in pain, the natural human impulse is to reach out, to help.
Yeah.
But doing so often violates that modern social contract.
The driver makes a conscious and very difficult choice to hesitate.
They hold back.
They realize this is not their battle to fight. It's not their journey to navigate.
So they choose inaction.
Yes, they choose inaction. They accept their role as simply a chauffeur and a silent observer. And I want you to think about that burden for a moment. Have you ever found yourself trapped as a passive witness to someone else's deeply personal storm?
It's a tough spot to be in.
Standing in an elevator while two coworkers have a vicious whispering match. Or sitting at a cafe while a couple dismantles their life together just one table over.
You feel like you shouldn't be hearing it.
It is a paralyzing place to be. You are socially bound to pretend you are deaf and blind to the human suffering happening mere inches away.
It requires immense restraint to maintain that invisible wall. But because the driver maintains it, because they stay silent and just observe, they witness a moment of striking duality.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
The text notes a pivotal shift in the source material. Right in the middle of this tumultuous exchange, amidst all the hurled accusations, a moment of vulnerability emerges.
A crack in the armor.
Yes. The driver sees their eyes meet briefly in the rearview mirror.
Just for a second.
Just a split second.
Yeah.
But in that second, a flicker of genuine affection softens their expressions.
That single glance in the rearview mirror anchors the entire narrative.
It changes everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It forces the driver, and us as readers, to completely reevaluate what is happening in that back seat.
How so?
This is not two people who despise each other. The driver is witnessing a glimpse of the love that once brought them together. A love that is still present, but just buried beneath massive layers of pain.
The writer uses a very specific phrase to describe that buried love. They say, the love is still there, but its time has eroded.
The tragedy of eroded time.
Eroded time.
It is a brilliant way to frame cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
They possess this incredible magnetic draw toward each other, which obviously explains the affair.
Right.
But time has altered the landscape of their lives.
Yeah.
Every single choice they made in the intervening years building lives and marriages with other people, it created a new reality.
They can't just undo it.
No, they can't. The
Yeah.
foundation they once shared has washed away entirely. They are trying to stand on ground that simply no longer exists.
They are essentially demanding the present to behave like the past.
Yes,
And getting furiously angry when it refuses to do so.
precisely. They are mourning the loss of a timeline that didn't happen. And they're taking that immense grief out on each other in the back of this stranger's car.
So what does this all mean? How does a hurricane like this actually conclude?
It's rarely a clean ending.
No, it's not. The driver notes that as they neared the drop-off location, the intensity of the argument began to subside. But it does not end in a neat, happy resolution.
Not at all.
The physical shift in the car happens again. The air becomes heavy. It is filled with this deeply melancholic silence.
The storm finally passes, and they are just left surveying the wreckage.
Yeah.
The driver notes they sit in this heavy silence, actively contemplating the weight of their choices and the looming consequences waiting for them in their separate lives.
Returning to their realities.
The adrenaline of the argument fades away, leaving only the cold reality of the mess they've made.
Then comes a drop-off. And the document describes it strictly and with such stark clarity.
It's very visual.
They reach the destination. The couple quietly pays the fare.
No grand finale.
No, there are no slam doors. There are no final screams into the night. They just exit the vehicle. The driver watches them walk away, noting their physical posture. Their shoulders are visibly slumped.
The physical toll of it all.
Yes. Their faces wear the undeniable, immense weight of their complicated relationship. You can physically see the regrets of the time that separated them pressing down on their shoulders as they walk away into the night.
It is a profoundly sobering image. We also really have to consider the toll this takes on the driver.
The silent observer.
Right. The driver absorbed all of this ambient tension. They state they felt a potent mix of empathy and sadness for these strangers.
No judgment.
Exactly. The driver's ultimate takeaway isn't judgment about the infidelity. It is pure empathy for the incredibly difficult path this couple has chosen to walk.
The driver leaves that curb but just cannot shake the impact of the encounter.
It sticks with you.
The night continues. They keep working, picking up more passengers as the hours tick by. But that memory lingers. It becomes a lasting reminder of the intricate, often messy nature of the human heart.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the driver's final philosophical takeaway elevates this entirely.
It goes beyond just a crazy rideshare story.
It elevates it beyond a story about an uncomfortable rideshare. It becomes a deep exploration of fate versus desire.
Fate versus desire.
We often assume we can control our hidden lives,
Yeah.
that we can rewrite our histories if we just try hard enough. We scheme and plan to bend reality to our desires.
But the driver realizes that the universe, despite our intense desires to rekindle old flames, always has a way of dictating our fate.
Always.
The couple desired solace and sanctuary, but the universe dictated a storm.
It is a deeply humbling realization. We grip the steering wheel, absolutely convinced we are charting the course. But the universe owns the road.
That's a great metaphor.
Our desires often clash terribly with the immovable reality of the lives we've actually built.
As we wrap up this deep dive into secretaffair.docs, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over on your own.
Something to sit with.
It builds on the mechanics of this entire encounter. I want you to consider the unique psychological pressure cooker of a moving vehicle.
It's a very specific environment.
It is. Unlike a living room where we sit face to face, a car forces us to sit side by side. You are strapped in, you are moving at high speed, and you are staring straight ahead at the passing world instead of looking directly into the eyes of the person next to you.
It changes the dynamic entirely.
Does that transient, confined space of a stranger's car somehow strip away our natural defenses?
That's the question.
By removing the pressure of direct eye contact, does sitting side by side in the dark actually force us to confront the undeniable, messy truths we spend the rest of our lives running from?
It really makes you wonder.
It is definitely something to consider the next time you slide into the back seat.